You? Yes. I don't know what that is, but hey, it's glowy, and when is a glowy thing's not a hit. A monk rave necklace. All right. Sounds good to me. So YouTube's live, Twitch is live, I assume. Okay, sounds great. Thanks, Paul. So we're gonna welcome to Tech Hour. We're going to keep this tight and tidy today, and that I need to end on the hour again. Can't go over too much. We're really super busy over here right now, preparing some changes and some events. So uh, we're uh, we're all working overtime at the moment. So we'll just end on time today. Just to start off, we did get the patch Unity promised us yesterday, so that is testing now for viewer builds. It looks like preliminary is good. It fixed the problems that you're aware of, and we're just making sure that it doesn't have any new problems, because that's always the fun part with upgrading to a newer version of the Unity engine is you never know what's changed and what got broken that you didn't expect. So we want to do a full Q&A on it before we go live with it. But looking optimistic now that we have what we need to do that. Uh, right off the top, also we have a question regarding that, so I'm just gonna pick it up immediately. Here is um, what if someone who's currently using 1B can't handle the 2B viewer? What do they do when 1B is gone? There's no reason that anybody shouldn't be able to handle the 2B viewer. It's not more resource intense. It's actually considerably less. With all the optimizations we put into it, it has a lower memory footprint. There's a lot of optimizations that should less both system and video memory, as well as being easier on the CPU. So if you can't run the 2B viewer for some reason, get in touch with us, file a ticket or something, and that's going to be a computer specific issue. Off the top of my head, I can't think of any reason you wouldn't be able to run it, but that's something we would have to diagnose specifically on your computer. And with that being said, I think Michelle made the question clicker thingy very large today, so it's very large and behind the stage now. Um, Probably should move it forward at some point, but if you click that, you'll open up a window on your screen where you can enter questions to be answered here. And if you're joining us by YouTube or Twitch, then you can go to sli.do in your web browser and enter the event code. Let me grab that real quick. Event code 62379 to ask questions through your web browser. If you're not logged in, you're just watching us on the live stream there. So while we wait for questions to come in, I will be watching the chat also. But if you're not logged in, you won't see the chat. So it's useful to be able to go through your web browser for that. So there's a bunch of cool stuff that we've been working on that are probably going to release with the two or some stuff that's we're holding a lot of stuff back, but there's some stuff that's also going to be just in there. I've been working on spatialized audio this week, so that as you walk around, you can hear whether people are to the left and right of your avatar, and they kind of drop off as they go far away, which should make things a lot more interesting for large crowds and kind of and boost the general feeling of being in the world. I haven't tried it yet in virtual reality, but I'm super stoked to put on a VR headset and see how that feels with the spatialized audio as well. But it works just normally on the desktop as well, so that's going to be pretty cool. And let's see what else have we been working on this week. We've got some really cool optimizations coming up that for enabling larger crowd sizes and stuff for big events, but that will be something will be coming later in 2018. Um, yeah, there's going to be after 2018 comes out. Also, one of our focuses is going to be getting back to um, implementing the ability to build stuff in world, which is something that we've wanted to do for a while, but we need other underlying technology to be that. So we're really excited to get back to doing some in world building style stuff. There's a little bit of that kind of, you can modify some stuff right now, but we really want to enable like full creation through the viewer, and so we're going to be working towards that after we get 2B out, along with a bunch of other features such like the terraformable terrain, like that. Also, just as a little bit of housekeeping, there will not be office hours next week. I'm actually taking a little bit of time off because next week's my anniversary. So I told my boss I was not going to be here next Wednesday. So and I don't think Adam's going to have time to fill in next Wednesday. We're just not doing tech hours at all next Wednesday, and then we'll pick up again the Wednesday afterwards. And sidearm asks, I see that the assembly is now a featured region, so direct teleport to events works. When are you adding the other ones? Yeah, I will do that. I need to. It actually just takes a few minutes, but it's just been running around so busy that haven't gotten into the database to flip the switches yet. I will do that right after tech hours today. Thank you, Kirsten. Kirsten says happy anniversary. Yeah, so that's sorry to leave you guys hanging next week, but higher priorities. You understand the wife would be quite upset if I did tech hours on our anniversary. Somebody's got their yeah, bring my wife to tech hours as an anniversary date. Yeah. I mean, she's actually sitting like 4 feet away from me right now, so she's already kind of here. Yeah, it's kind of interesting that with all the COVID stuff going on right now. The restaurant that we usually go to for our anniversary is the restaurant that we had our wedding reception in, and everybody's been closed, so we didn't even know if we would be able to do anything with them this year. But they actually just opened up like 4 days before our anniversary. Go give it a try. Yeah, everybody's spaced out, like minimal capacity, wearing masks. It's gonna be a weird experience this year, but we'll give it a try. Gabby asks, is the Shoutcast stream thing in the region settings supposed to work yet? I didn't fill a report about it because you're not sure about it. In theory, it's supposed to work. I have not personally tried it myself, but yeah, it needs it needs a little bit of UI updates. When it was built, it wasn't built with to using our current UI skin, so it needs that update. There's some stuff there, but I believe it's supposed to be functional. I just have not personally tried it myself, so we will do some testing on that before the 2B goes to live, because that's something we really want working. Is having that basic ability to control the background music through the without having to build and find all these custom radios and stuff. Gabby says it let you input a stream and all, and it works as long as the region info panel is open. Doesn't, but nobody else can hear it. Okay, well that doesn't sound cool, right? There must be a bug with propagating the stream out to the other users in the region. I'll get Q&A to look at it, and we'll get something sorted out on that. Probably beginning of next week, because like I said, we're really up against the wall this week, with what we've got on our plates already. So that's why we're actually uh, Richie normally joins us for office hours, but he was super busy, and I don't think he's here today. He's so yeah, we're all just exhausted. I was up till 3 a.m. last night doing some debugging, so I just crawled in this morning here. Yeah, yeah, we'll get that sorted out. Um, and just as a reminder, please, I will pick up questions from the chat also for people who are here. But if you're not here, um, or if you want to make sure your question doesn't get lost in whatever chat history is, click the giant question mark behind me, and you can enter questions that go into a queue, and I'll definitely see them on my second monitor here. Oh, I'm sorry to hear Surrey is ill. Yeah, it's going around. Hopefully, it's just some minor, and he doesn't have coronavirus, because that would be bad. So hopefully he gets well soon. Always nice when he joins us here. So yeah, not a lot of questions coming in today. I just prattle on here, but if you have questions, feel free to drop them in either chat or sli.do, with event code 62379, and we'll get to those answered. I understand nobody likes my Leech avatar today. I've gotten a lot of ewes. Even my wife was not very excited about my Leech avatar. Well, I mean, it's a pretty color, right? It's all teal. That's something to like.
I,
Well,
I,
I thought it was cool.
I see Dune. Looks like a sandworm to me from Dune. It's cool.
Mimi says that she moved me off camera because she's enjoying her lunch and doesn't want her lunch spoiled. And Alicia apparently doesn't know what a leech is. So yeah, a leech is a worm that latches onto you and sucks your blood. You pick them up in rivers. They're really great. I suspect most people here will never run into one, but well, except for mine, of course. Never run into one in the real life because they'll only show up in certain types of rivers. Oh, you're wondering which one I have? Okay, this is the armored leech from the store. There's a bunch of different ones in there, so maybe I'll just mix it up each week because I'm just kind of enjoying all the reactions to it. Hey, and not playing in the water. It's a good idea. Um, well, like I said, nobody's asking questions here, so I'm just kind of going to be rambling here if people don't throw questions at me. It
Are
seems
there any
to be a slow
updates,
question day.
Joshua? Any updates on Break Room and the white labeling and that whole project?
Well, I mean, there's always ongoing updates to Break Room and the white labeling. One of them is one I mentioned a little while ago, where um, the kind of the screen share video conference type of thing. Um, we're doing some ongoing work on that. There's some bug fixes. There's some optimization. We have some new features that we're on Agora for. But we did do some updates to it. Like I was up till, like I said, like 2 a.m. last night making spatialized audio work. So that's a fun new feature. We're in terms of white labels, we're always adding customization options for those up, rollout and things like that, and updating of those. In terms of sales of Break Room, that's not something I can talk about here. Yeah, we are signing up new people on a weekly basis for white labels in general. Sometimes not, but I can't really any on that because that's not our place to disclose people who have bought that product, but we do have people who are signing up um, new white labels every week, pretty much. Um, Landmarks lost their ID. Some do, some don't. I don't know what you mean by that, Cindy. Can you expand on that a little bit? I mean, landmarks could mean a lot of things. Oh, in inventory, can't tell what is what in inventory. Um, so items in your inventory. Oh, they don't show their virtual good ID anymore. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, that's I don't see it on anything either. That's probably something we should put back. If I recall it, it used to show the virtual good ID in here. Yeah, apparently it's been
You
reported
used
as an
to,
issue already.
right, when you click on your landmarks now, it doesn't even show a title or anything. You have to kind of go back up to search.
Yeah, sounds like there's been issues reported for a couple of those. So I would check the issue tracker, and if the one for landmark specifically has not been reported, then throw an issue up there, and we'll um, we'll take a look at that. There's been some changes around how those tooltips and pop-ups and stuff in the inventory work to make them more efficient and also get them ready to show some new kinds of information. But we should definitely make sure we're not losing old information in the process. A question came in, says, what is the trend in terms of Sciencebase user registrations? Honestly, I haven't looked. We've been so busy the last several months actually that I that's not something I normally look at anyway. That would be a question for like Digvijay or something who normally keeps an eye on those kind of things. That's outside of what I normally pay attention to because that's not part of my normal job. Is doesn't involve looking at those kind of marketing numbers. Updating the documentation, how to stream in the Sciencebase. Yeah, we're actually have been doing a lot with streaming over the last couple of weeks. It's been a big push for us because of just a bunch of demand for the ability to stream from a bunch of different people. And actually, it was working on um, the streaming component right before office hours today. We made some changes and fixed some bugs. Added some new features. There was an issue where if you tried to like for example if you tried to switch streams to a new stream and the new had a different resolution than the old one, it wouldn't always switch over properly. So that's been sorted now. There's just a bunch of ongoing work with that, kind of polishing that up and making sure that streams work reliably. Of course, to the extent that the stream is delivered to us, of course, there's always the issue of um, what's coming from the streaming, the actual video stream, and your bandwidth and your internet connection and stuff. But we want to make sure that it's as robust as possible on our end because a lot of people who want that. In terms of documentation as a general thing, yeah, that's one of the many things we need our documentation updated on, especially now that we've kind of fine-tuned the streaming and we know how it works. Richie, kind of our resident expert on getting streams into Sciencebase here. So we may have him put his expertise down in a document at some point. Put it on the wiki or somewhere. We are looking at investing in our documentation going forward as well. It's something we've been talking about for a while. That we need people who are dedicated to the job of documenting stuff. So people we can just like, that's your job. I need this documented. I need it put on the wiki. And we're seriously looking into what that will, what that looks like for us in terms of putting together a team for that. We'll have more news on that when we get ready to pull the trigger on that. But hopefully, it's going to be. Let's see, I got some more questions coming in here. With the 2B 2018 main rollout, what can we expect? How goes the bug squashing? Are new features going to be flipped on slowly or all at once? Probably iteratively, just for our own sanity. Some things will have to come online simultaneously. Uh, there's some things like we talked about, I think either last week or the week before, where like we can't roll out the terraformable terrain by itself because it's not very useful by itself. We have to roll out a new set of tools that go with it as well. So um, things like that will have to be rolled out and flipped on together. Other things, don't have to be rolled at the same time. So we'll probably look at doing iterative releases, like, hey, this is the terrain release, and it has that and some new room editing tools, and then after that we'll focus on a different feature for a live release. Um, it's kind of been a hassle for us just because we have a lot of people right now using the beta viewer, which is a development challenge for us. So we're looking forward to getting that rollout done and getting people moved over to a live, more stable build, so we can iterate more quickly on the beta version and not have to worry about who's using it and what events are going to need that and that sort of thing. So we're really looking forward to making that switch over. Mimi, yeah, if you have issues, please send tickets. There's some known issues that have already fixed. We're actually, 2B49's out right now. We know there's an issue with 2B49. We're actually in the process of building a 2B50. So we're rapidly building new viewers at this point. And next week, pretty much our focus is going to be on, okay, we have what we need. Let's clean up the loose ends, and let's get 28 out there and going. Like I said, there was a question at the beginning about, if you can't run 2B, what do you do? Please submit tickets sooner rather than later if you specifically can't run it. I don't know. I haven't personally talked to anybody who can't run it, but obviously the person who submitted that question must have tried it and had difficulty with it. So the sooner you get with us on that, the sooner we can sort that out ahead of that 2018. Mimi says last night was crazy. You had to use 1B to get back. I don't know what was going on last night. Yeah, at this point, Gabby, a question from Gabby: is it still requested for creators to test things in the 1B viewer? Because you stopped caring about 1B, and that's fine at this point. I don't think there's any reason to put any effort into shoring up whatever you think's going to work in 1B versus the future is 2B. We're dumping the 2017 viewer, and a lot of projects already have just scrapped it and are just using it only. I just want to reiterate that is for the viewer. If you're using a 2018 editor, you can still continue to use editor. That's not going away. Your 2018 editor, when you upload that content, we just automatically convert it for 2018 compatibility. So you do not need to update your actual editor project from 2017 to 2018, updating the view. So I just want to make sure that's clear. Yeah, Karsten notes that the Unity Hub doesn't even offer to install 2018 editors anymore. You can still go get them, but 2017 is deprecated at this point, which is why we're getting away from it. So you don't have to update your 2017 editor. We are going to continue to support it, but there's also no reason really not to update it to the 18.4 release as well. It's almost the same, like in terms of using it, the interface is the same, the functionality is the same. The only thing you'll really notice is prefabs are treated a little bit differently in 2018 than they are in 2017. If you want to edit a prefab, they have a special prefab editing mode that you can go into to make changes and then go back to the scene. So it's kind of sometimes it's kind of annoying, sometimes it's really nice, but you get used to it pretty fast, and that's really the only functional difference you'll notice going from 20. You can't go back afterwards though, so make sure if you upgrade to 2018, you're committed to that, or back up your old 2017 project before you update it, just in case you don't like the change. But functionally, none of our stuff should be broken in 2018. 2018, the editor has been robust for a while. Something else we're working on is we're also we have probably going to be signing up with a new tech partner to better track and manage exceptions and errors that are coming from the viewers, like real-time error reporting and diagnosing. And so we're hoping that this will pay dividends in a lot of ways. One is, we want to be, a lot of errors get generated in the background that don't hurt anything, but they shouldn't be there in the first place. Like, when you switch regions, a lot of times stuff as its dying last gasp will throw an exception up because an object that it expected is no longer there, or some stuff like that. But we want to try and quash as many of those as possible, and that includes errors that come up in the editor, because the editor is a subset of the main viewer, and sometimes when we put in stuff and we're like, okay, this part goes into the editor, but this part doesn't, then that can cause errors to arise because the part that is in the editor is looking for the isn't in the editor, and it doesn't hurt anything. You can still, it doesn't prevent you from working on it or developing and uploading stuff like that, but it is just annoying to see those errors come up in the editor when you're working. We want to start dialing those back as much as possible, and I would like to get to a place where there's few, if any, exceptions coming up in the editor while you're building from our stuff. Obviously, if you're doing something, and you're responsible for making sure your own errors go away. Let's see, some questions coming here. Let me see which ones I've addressed this month. Can you get a marketing person to come to Tech Hour for Q&A? That would be interesting, I suppose. I mean, it is Tech Hour, but there's I suppose there's no reason we couldn't set aside a week occasionally for non-techie related. I can float the idea around. That might be Digvijay, or it might be somebody else, or I might get told that's a terrible idea and we're not doing it. So I'll float the idea around internally and see if it's that. Yeah, I mean, we don't have a marketing hour, so um, I understand that this is kind of like the venue to come to. So yeah, I will float the idea around. I can't make any promises. And there's some data, like you may have marketing questions, and we just can't answer one reason or other, not because we don't have the data, but just because it's information we don't want made public or something like that. So I don't know how useful that would be. If you've got examples of questions that you would like to see answered at Tech Hour, email those to me and I'll pass them along to our head of marketing, and see if they're questions that they would be willing to talk about during a live program like this, and if anybody available to do that. Yeah, we do have a forum. It doesn't get used a lot, but it is there. We would like to start promoting it more, but yeah, there's a less technical hour starting up, according to Les here, a new community event starting. So yeah, hopefully we could get to a place where we could do these either on a more regular basis or in a more diversified way. Right now, it's just everybody's so busy that finding availability on people's schedules is really the big challenge right now. I almost didn't do today's, but I didn't want to cancel 2 weeks in a row. So I was like, we'll make the hour work because it's like I said, we're not doing it next week, and I didn't want to have a 2-week gap. Yes, we do have a forum. Use it, or Gabby's coming at you with the pitchforks. Yeah, we want to start promoting the forum more. We did try when we started doing Tech Hours again a few months ago. We did try to get people to post questions there, and we just we I think the first week we had some people post a few questions, and then we just get people to keep posting questions there, and it kind of fell away. But would like to make that a thing that happens. Let's see. Do I miss any other questions in here? Um, I think I got all the questions that are currently on Slido. So if you have more questions, feel free to throw them up there. I'm going through chat at the moment. Yeah. Also, I think this is what has been added recently, but you can now click on links in chat. That was gone for a while, but it's back now, so that's super nice. We do still need the ability to copy text out of there, though. That needs to be added back. Sidearm says, main thing noticed with 2B49 this week is a lot of reloading, buffering the voice intermittently. Yeah, we've had some off and on issues with Vivox, which has just kind of been a historical thing for Vivox. Is we'll go long periods of time where Vivox is great and gives us no trouble, and then we'll have periods of time where we're ready to throw Vivox out the door and find something else, and it kind of goes back and forth. So we may be in that phase right now. Yeah, the Carson says nice reason to use the forums. You can link directly to a post in questions, which is nice. Yeah, the search box in Discord is not great for historical. So yeah, everybody go use the forum more. I say that as a total hypocrite. I don't spend a lot of time in the forum either, just because I'm just if I'm working, I'm usually working on code or something like that. But I would like to have a bigger presence there and have the community utilize the forums at a higher rate as well. So that's more in the marketing community side of things than on the tech side of things, which I'm in. But putting that out there. Gabby's going to single-handedly revive the forums. Yeah, a lot of people are using Discord just because it's so immediate, and you get those notifications and stuff pop up. Hey, there's a new post, there's a new message, somebody added you directly. Maybe that's it. Maybe our forum needs to have push notifications. Question from Sidearm here says, where are the science-based servers physically loaded? I assume you mean located. All over the place. Depends on the servers. We use Amazon Cloud Service, AWS, for a lot of stuff. So those are located wherever they need to be. We do have some physical servers that are located in various places. Yeah, AWS. We're part AWS, and we have some actual servers around. I believe a lot of them are East Coast US. You can just trace route us and find that out. You just ping the science-based service, and it'll tell you where it's going. But we are actually also setting up some new servers for some new stuff in various places that are going to be, as we expand, we're adding more servers in more places, and just wherever a need is for a particular service, because we have servers that do things like, we have a server that's job is just to manage chat and nothing else, and like that. So if servers that are just handling processing and just running the curator and things like that. So as demand increases for a particular service, then we scale up that the server capacity for that. For location wise, we're just installed as needed. Are we sticking with AWS? We're sticking with whatever works best. Right now, we're using AWS for a lot of things. We're looking into other services for different purposes. Sometimes AWS is a great fit, sometimes not. It's not the only game in town, and there's a lot of services out there that are more specialized for specific needs, and sometimes it makes sense to go with one of those specialty hosting providers for a particular um, subset of the science-based service. One thing, and we need to do it fast and well and scalable, and maybe somebody else does that better than AWS. So we're not um, you know we're flexible. It's we go with the service that meets our needs best. Of course, there's cost considerations and things like that go into it. I don't know, they're not that bad. Inquisitive Loon apparently has a low opinion of AWS, but generally it works well, and it's easily scalable and easily localized to different parts of the world. So I mean, it definitely has its advantages, but it's not necessarily the uh, the magic bullet for all use cases. Um, Also, just quickly touching on our GitHub, you will notice there's nothing new on the GitHub today, and that's because, as I mentioned before, um, we're all absolutely slammed. Richie, who normally does that, is absolutely slammed. Um, Next week, things should quiet down a little bit for us, and Richie's going to spend some time putting a bunch of new stuff on GitHub, bunch of projects that I've given him, bunch of projects that he's done, come from different sources. So you'll see there's no tech hours next week, but later next week, later in the week, have a look at GitHub, and hopefully you'll see a bunch of new code examples, object examples, and stuff like that up there, which we want to put out there to enable creativity as much as possible. I'm always amazed with what people do with the little snippets of code that I give them. I gave the team like a 10-line Lua script um, a couple weeks ago, and I actually just got to see the fruits of what they did, what the art team did with that little tiny script that I gave them, and it's just creative stuff going on there. So that script will probably end up on there as well. If I haven't given it to Richie, I will do that. It's just a tiny little script that lets attach it to an animator, just a Unity animator, and the animator gets controlled by your distance to the object. So as you approach it, it advances the animation, and as you pull away, it pulls the animation back to really cool creative stuff. And it was just, like I said, like a 10-line script. So we haven't forgotten. It's coming. Just one of the just a little bit lower priority than some other stuff right now. Balthazar asks, I was wondering if there's a way to put palm trees with a wind zone in Space. Yeah, absolutely. That wind zones are fully supported. That's a standard Unity feature. I've made scenes with wind zones in them before. It's just a matter of is the palm tree set up to listen to the wind zone, and I believe that's just going to be a matter of putting the right shader on it. I know, like, if you go get speed tree trees, of which they have some free ones on the Unity Asset Store, those react to the wind zones automatically. Those have the correct shader on them. So you'll just have to make sure your palm trees have a wind shader on them. If they don't, then they're not going to do anything. And that's just a standard Unity feature, and we do support it. The ever popular question is Sinewave hiring for real? Any new staff this month? Um, that's going to be a big question, or I should say, we're going to have a lot to say on that. Hopefully, in the near future. There's a lot of internal planning going on around what the company's staffing needs going to need to be for the second half of the year and go forward into the future. So there's a lot of like internal organization charts going on, and who do we need on this team? Have that can go on this team? It's already there. that sort of thing. So I can't tell you anything right now in terms of hiring, but I can tell you that um, we need more staff than we have, and we're hoping to address that in the near future. And so that's again something that you will see on our blog and posted other places when we get ready to actually open the doors on that. So I will be as soon as I can, I will come in here, and that will be the first thing that I say on a tech hours is, hey, we're hiring, here's the positions, here's the links, please go apply. As soon as I have something to report on that, something concrete, something specific, you won't have to ask, I'll bring it up in tech hours, and you'll also be able to see it on the blog. That's about all I can say about that at the moment. Yeah, you're absolutely free to if we put a blog post up saying, hey, we need a person to fill this position, you're absolutely free to link that post from anywhere you want to, post it on your Facebook or whatever. We'll be casting our net out and going, hey, we need qualified people to do a wide variety of jobs, and so that's people in the community want to apply, we're absolutely all for that. If you just know a developer who needs work, then yeah, absolutely, those links can go there. Once they're on our blog, they're not privileged information. They're on a public blog. You can post them wherever you want to. Let me see. Any more questions here? I'm gonna start clearing out some questions that I've already answered because just kind of getting to be hard to follow here. I've answered that one. Gonna get a marketing person. We'll check on that. Yeah, kudos for being able to click a URL in chat. Now, please add the ability to copy plain text from chat. Yeah, like I said, that's something we still need to add back to the new chat system. It's coming, bits and pieces. We're making progress there. But yeah, I know it's annoying to not be able to just copy a chat message out. It's a little bit tricky with like arbitrarily selecting a bit of text to copy out. I think we can probably make that work too with this new system, but it's very different than the other system. But as a stopgap, I don't know why we couldn't just make it so you can click on it and say copy the whole message and paste it else. That would be super, I would think. I'm going to leave this question about the featured regions up just so it reminds me to do it after tech hours. Science-based servers, covered that. Palm trees. Okay, so I've covered all the questions that are currently on Slido there. We've got about 15 minutes left. Like I said, I will have to end on the hour on time today just because we have so much stuff going on. So feel free to throw more questions at me here. Yeah, we'll code for food. Yeah. Yeah, at the moment, food's not a problem. Sleep is in short supply. So let's see here. Going up through chat here, see if I missed anything. Looks like we have another question coming in. Sidearms always bring in the questions. Speaking of chat, can you please make it so we can scroll up and read chat without being jumped to the bottom every time something new is typed? Yeah, that's actually something we have on our internal list. Is leaving the leaving the sliding bar where it's at if you're not at the bottom already. So yeah, we're aware that's annoying and it's already on the list to fix. I've missed any questions here in chat back. Yeah, the feature's in the mail. Yeah, it's frustrating for us because like we have these huge lists. We have a long list of features that we want to get to, and it's just priority. Like yeah, we can have somebody spend the time working on the chat system some more, or is there a higher pressing issue? And that changes on a daily basis. So things are really super busy for us the last couple weeks. Everybody's absolutely maxed out, working overtime. But so things should settle down a little bit next week, and hopefully we can start getting some of these quality of life changes made ahead of the 28th. Question: has holding a tech hour been a net plus or minus for development staff from my perspective? Honestly, I think it's been a net plus. Um, that's I wouldn't say there's really any negatives have come out of it other than it does take a little bit of time for us to to put this together and 'cause, typically we have Dolome's here, I'm here, Paul's here doing the streaming, Richie's usually here. So it does. The only real negative side of it is, essentially we're eating up, you know, 4 to 6 man hours of work time to put this on between everybody who's here and the setup for it and everything like that. So that's really the only negative is just making sure we have time and that time gets taken away from something else. But in all other respects, I think it's definitely a net positive. It's a complete positive. There's not really any other negative downsides to it. I think it's good for me. Every week I come in here, you guys bring stuff up. You remind me of stuff. You bring up stuff that I may not have known before, or you bring up stuff that I can tell you, yeah, that's fixed, or working on it. And it brings up stuff that I get to take back to the dev team, management team, and say, these are community concerns. These are that have come up this week, and how do we address them? And what's the best course of action here? So I think it's been super useful, honestly, and I would definitely like to keep doing it indefinitely. There may be periodic trade-off between somebody else doing it, but I think it should be done every week if possible. Carson asked, "Can you develop a time machine? I could use a few extra hours in a day, as I'm sure you could as well." More than a time machine, I could use like a cloning machine. I need like 3 of me. So if anybody's got with like the cloning or copying my brain into digitizing my brain into the cloud would be great. Have 4 or 5 copies of that running. So teleporters, you could save a lot of time with teleporters. If you were cloned, one of you would try to kill off the others to keep the money alive. Unless you clone your wife too, I guess. Yeah, that's a whole can of worms. Cloning technology is always made for good science fiction movie, but lots of practical concerns, like if you have a life insurance policy on each clone, or can one clone take you out and cash in the life insurance policy? All of you all share the same social security number? I don't know. There's a lot of administrative overhead to having clones, is what I'm saying. Yeah, like Karsten says, voice sometimes gets garbled and cuts out. Yeah, it's a Vivox thing. Like I said earlier, we go for months where Vivox is great and having no problems, and then we'll go for periods where Vivox is giving us constant problems, and then it clears up and goes away again. And yeah, it's Vivox is used by a lot of different places. Second, bunch of it's widely used. I don't know if the issues is yeah. Apparently, I cut out just saying that. I don't know if I'm cutting out for everybody or just for Karsten here, but yeah, it's one thing. One of the reasons like I'm looking forward to getting the 2B viewer out is the 2B viewer includes the option of using a different voice service if we. It's something that and honestly, our testing of that voice service has had better sound quality in general. Um, so I'm looking forward to once we get 2B out and everybody's on 2B mandatorily, and we know that there's not going to be anybody showing up here with the one. Then I'm going to throw that in this read. We'll do a tech hours with the other service and see how that goes as well. That service is a little bit more expensive for us to use. This was something we mentioned before, but for tech hours like this, it's difference. Make note that West Coast, Gulf Coast, and East Coast all cut out at the same time. Yeah, that sounds like a buy box issue. Is there a suggestion box in the forums? I believe there's a forum specifically for posting suggestions, but if not, we can have one. Inquisitive Loon wants to know if the 2B viewer will work on 1922 computers. I don't know if you're talking about a model number or a year there, but I suspect not. Sciencebase ever have a community channel? I don't know what you mean by a community channel. Channel where, on what? Question from Mimi there. Oh, a Discord community channel? What would be different about that than the Discord channels that are already on there, I guess would be my question. Because there's a ton of channels on there. And the whole point of the Discord is the entire Discord is for the community. Tried running Sciencebase on a 2008 netbook. It works for simple regions. Honestly, I'm surprised it worked at all on a 2008 netbook. Netbooks, by definition, are really bottom end, super cheap hardware. So the fact that you even got it to run is actually impresses me. But yeah, we actually have some stuff coming up that might make that work on a 2008 netbook in the future. Looking forward to telling you guys about that more in detail when it's a little bit further along. Our goal with that is end of next month, but we'll see how that goes. You can run Sciencebase on Windows 7. You should be able to run Sciencebase on Windows 7. We don't explicitly do anything that would prevent it. However, Windows 7 is deprecated. Even Microsoft no longer supports Windows 7. So yeah, if you do start to run into issues running on Windows 7, we will try our best to fix that and keep it going on there as long as possible. But as Windows 7 continues to age, then there will be some point where just like all the Windows versions before it, we have to eventually say we're dropping support for Windows 7 because everybody else has too. So that becomes a problem for us. But as long as you can continue doing it, I guess. More questions in Slido here. There's a question: can we make Gabby a forum admin? I will talk to the community team. It might be worthwhile if we don't already to have some community moderators on the forum. I know our community staff is currently handling that, I believe, but especially as we grow, it may make sense to add some more support there, and bringing in might be a great way to do that. Yes, Sidearm did ask the question. Sidearm is trying to push Gabby into being a forum administrator, so maybe somebody should ask Gabby. Apparently Gabby asked, and at the moment we're not bringing in anybody who's not staffed by us. That may change in the future, or it may not. Like I said, that's something we'll talk about internally. We've talked about that also in terms of, do we want to open up editing on the forum, on the wikis, and things like that. So it's been an ongoing discussion internally about, does it make sense to bring in vetted community members to help with some of the community-oriented tasks like that. So when and if something happens on that, we'll let you guys know. Yeah, I don't think there's a technical reason preventing it. Right now, it's just a policy reason. Because it's about how we enforce the moderating rules, that kind of stuff. If you don't work for us, then it's different. It's a different relationship there with the moderators. So that would be something that would have to be managed. Sometimes it works well, sometimes it really doesn't. There's a forum that I'm on that had community moderators for years and years, and it just got to be such a big problem that they ended up having to fire all the community moderators and hire an in-house moderation team to take over, just because it was just an ongoing problem. So it's something we would have to step into gingerly if we were going to do that. And I'm not saying we are. That's just something we'll talk about and whether that makes sense. So I think I've got all the questions that are on Slido right now. We have about 5 minutes left. Like I said, we are going to end on time today. So if you've got any last minute questions, feel free to throw them at me here. Sidearm asks, someone told me there is a trusted creator status where a creator can upload to the main grid without intermediary sine wave staff doing it. Yes, that is true. That does exist. It gets reviewed on a case-by-case basis. If people want to be promoted to the point where they have that ability to approve their own content through to the main grid, that is a feature we do support. But it's something you have to approach us about at the moment and say, I want to do this, and then there's a vetting process, and we have to talk to you about it, and then we can set it up. Actually, setting your account to do that takes about 10 seconds. it's just something, an administrative function we can set in Curator from our side. But we have to go through that process of onboarding you into that program.
So I just want to make the point that since you have a protocol for trusting someone with that power, which is pretty impressive, a similar protocol, there you go, to be a admin. Thank you.
For it to be a forum admin, yeah. We have to be careful. It's a little bit different because in terms of like approving content, if you approve your own content, it's still your content. It's going onto the grid, and if there turns out to be a problem with it, we can pull it down or make you change it or whatever. Problem with forum moderators has always been if you post something or take an action on the forum, you're necessarily taking that action to or against another forum user. And so it's seen as, instead of you doing your own content, it's you messing with other people's content. And it's a whole different perspective from the other community, from user stuff about that role versus trusted to handle your own content more carefully versus, handling and editing and potentially censoring other people's content they've posted on the forum. It's a completely different ballpark, just from a policy angle. We don't even trusted users on the main grid can't approve other people's content. So it's very different, even though technically it's just as easy. So we've just only got a couple minutes here left. If anybody has any more questions, last chance, throw them on Slido or throw them in the chat, and we're getting ready to wrap up here. Yeah, as Paul says, we don't have any plans to make community members mods on the forum right now. That may change in the future, but right now it's not the case. We will let you know if we decide to change that as we grow and get bigger. The decision may end up be taken just to hire more community managers directly as part of our team and just keep that entirely in-house. That may very well be the route that we end up taking. Yeah, and as Les says here, the benefit of the forum over Discord is kind of that historical preservation. Discord, once things are an hour old, they're kind of gone. I mean, you can find them in the scroll back, but there's no organization or topical discussion. You can't navigate into a thread that you're particularly interested in because basically everything's one big thread. Would Sciencebase do a challenge for an event Mimi is planning? I don't know. You'd have to give us more specifics than that before I can commit us to doing anything there. You have to tell me what the challenge is and what our involvement with it would be. I can't just blanket say, yeah, we're going to do whatever you want. That doesn't work well. Yeah, talk to Les. He'll help you sort that out, whether it's something we can do.
Yeah, we just really quickly, community department has put together huge lists of have things on the calendar that are coming up. So Paul, Dixie, they're not available. Myself, Jaden, we can all give you some information on that.
Yeah, that's definitely firmly in the community team's purview there. And like I said, you'd have to give us specifics, but in general, we encourage as many community events as people want to put on, like more or as much as possible. Please go do events. But that's just throw specifics at one of the community team, and they'll help you sort that out. We're over the hour now. It's 1 minute past, so I hate to be miserly about it, but unfortunately, we all have to get back to some very pressing tasks for this week. So I think we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you, everyone, for coming to Tech Hours this week. Just a reminder, no Tech Hours next week, but we will resume the week after that. Take care, everyone. Thanks, Paul.
Oh, good. Now we can let our hair down and partay.
You can if